New Zealand flags. In the beginning there were thousands of submissions for the new New Zealand flag, and each of them symbolised New Zealand in some way. I'm going to disregard the history of the individual components of each flag because that would be like discussing pavlova in terms of the history of eggs. I'm interested in the stories of the flags themselves. Out of this harvest were taken 4 shortlisted flags. They were chosen by a committee with no flag experts or designers on it, so their story begins with a disregard for expert opinion. According to this committee, flags such as Red Peak were left out because New Zealanders struggle with abstract design. It's the story of the lowest possible expectations of New Zealanders. This is like saying, because I don't know anything about music theory, we should make Twinkle Twinkle Little Star our national anthem. In fact, I'm going to refer to the final flag as Twinkle Twinkle from now on. The other thing these 2 flags in particular speak of is lack of actual choice. Why not leave out one of these designs and include one for people who don't struggle with abstract designs? Then, along comes Red Peak. This flag is promoted by people who know a little about graphic design, so it's about having regard for the expertise of others. It gets included in the referendum after a massive social media campaign, so it's a story of New Zealanders joining together to stand up to massive incompetence and make an actual difference. The referendum goes by, and Twinkle Twinkle is the winner. Except it isn't really. All of the ballots are printed identically, and the reason this is never done is because of the small but significant amount of voters who simply tick the first box, or in this case, number the flag sequentially from left to right. Twinkle Twinkle was the first flag listed on the ballot, so the best you can say about it is that it probably would have won anyway, even if the ballots had been printed adequately. Unfortunately, probably would have won anyway doesn't have any serious democratic significance. So, Twinkle Twinkle isn't the story of a win at all, but of a failure to follow basic democratic procedure. Following the stories of Twinkle Twinkle and Red Peak so far, it seems pretty clear that Red Peak has a much more positive tale behind it. But let's step back and look at things in an even wider context. This is the current New Zealand flag. It carries over 100 years of New Zealand history behind it. This is a silver fern, which the entire world identifies with our sporting achievements. Even this little New Zealand-made logo has been around for years. Next to these, all Red Peak says is that it won a social media campaign in 2015. It is microscopically insignificant. What we need to do is make it tell the story of a New Zealand that we want to hear about. If you want Red Peak to mean something, go out and do something charitable for our country under the banner of the Red Peak. Help out at a homeless shelter or feed school children. Volunteer to perform at a charity concert for Women's Refuge. Let's add it all to a story worthy of a national icon we want. Even if Red Peak never becomes our official flag, we'll still have created a story of a symbol to be proud of. In the words of a great scientist, your future is whatever you make it, so make it a good one.